Are you tired of feeling like you're just surviving, like you're just making it through your schedule, like giving everybody else your best while you and your family end up with just the scraps of your energy that are left over? Well, it's easy to feel like self-improvement is selfish, not possible, or you just don't have time for it. But the truth is, your growth ends up being the lid for you and your family's potential. When you raise your ceiling, you raise theirs too. Well, welcome to the Your Growth, Your Catalyst. It's a 4-part series on the Claim Your Day podcast. We're going to be exploring why excellence is actually easier than burnout, and how to build an unshakable self-trust through tiny, consistent wins. And this is actually going to benefit not just you, but your family and all those that you're in contact with. It's time to stop settling for fine or okay or just getting by. It's time to really see what's possible. Listen to the Your Growth, Your Catalyst series. You want to stop letting your days slip away and start leading your life with intention and purpose to pursue your full potential? Then you're in the right place, my friend. Welcome to the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm your host, Nick Mazey. Here, we stop just managing our demanding lives and begin to actively pursue our best lives, rooted in our values and purpose. Each week, we'll discuss practical strategies focused on becoming intentional with all that we do so we can live and lead well. Together, let's make today count. Hello, my friend, and welcome to episode 76, the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm glad you're joining in. Glad you're joining in this series. And today, we're going to be talking about, breaking free from this just getting by trap. We're going to escape the fine, and we're going to go ahead and trade the pain of discipline for the reward of significance. Well, that sounds pretty awesome to me. I hope it's something that would be helpful for you, because, we're just going to full on attack this lack of purposeful progress. I mean, just getting by is not where we want to be. And if you're listening to this podcast, then it's probably not where you want to be either. So there's the last episode in this series, all about your growth, your catalyst. And then the next series we're going to dive right into after this is just all about growing your impact. So I want to have this short series. We can talk about, how important your growth is. That way, in the next series, when we dive into really growing your impact, and how you can pursue the significance for your life, your family, and what's most important to you, it'll make a little bit more sense and land a little bit. So if you missed any of the previous episodes, make sure you check them out wherever you're getting this episode. You'll be able to find those too. Look, have you ever noticed that when you ask people, how they're doing, a lot of people just say, "I'm fine, getting by, making it." Look, that is a dangerous place to be. It's that in that comfortable middle is where dreams go to die. And I'd even venture to say that trying to stay comfortable in the moment is the best way to make sure that you're really uncomfortable in the long run. But if you want to live on purpose, if you want to live intentionally and pursue your best life, then you got to be able to break out of that. Because that middle where you're trying to be comfortable right now and you're not intentionally putting forth that effort, it's going to get really uncomfortable. It's going to lead to just drifting by, and you're just drifting through life and you're just getting by. And what that's going to happen, when you're going to look back, and say, I wish I would have gone after it. I wish I would have, give it my best. I wish I would have pursued those goals and those dreams. And that's the regret. Jim Rohn used to say, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, you're going to end up choosing one. And if you try not to choose, then later on when that regret comes, you'll know the choice that you made. And today we're going to talk about, how to really, find some of that motivation, that drive, that push to be able to go after your best self, to be able to, go make the day count. You're going to, talk about that, look at that future self of yours and be able to honor your future self by giving today your best effort. And now, if you missed any of the specifically the last episode, we talked about how really going after excellence can be a lot easier than drifting. So make sure you check that out, because this one builds on it a little bit. If you haven't, you don't have to stop this episode or anything, but make sure that you at least are open to the idea that giving your best effort to be the best that you can be can actually be easier and simpler in the long run than trying to be comfortable right now. Because comfort right now will come back and bite you. I mean, think about it. Think if you wanted to live your best life, but you want to be really comfortable right now, so you just sat on the couch. You didn't pay attention to your diet. You didn't exercise. You just sat on the couch. Well, eventually that comfortable right now choice is going to catch up with you. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks when your health is diminishing and you don't have the energy to do what you want to do. All right. Little aside, but go ahead and check out the previous episode. We'll dive into it more. But here we're really talking about, just being open to trading some of the pain of discipline, because it can be a little tough. It's the work for that possibility of really having that life and that impact, that significance that you want. As always, I have a few key points for you. The first one, as just about always too, it's from John Maxwell. It's all about being intentional. So growth doesn't just happen. Think about that. If you want your best life, if you want to say, hey, what can growth really do for me? If you want to explore that and make it a reality, if you're open to the idea of reaching for your potential, then you have to accept the fact that you need to be intentional. See, fine and just getting by, there's no intentionality behind that. There's no purpose. There's nothing you're reaching for. You're just really just trying to get through the day. And I get it. Sometimes days are tough. You got work, you got family, you got all these things going on, and you really do want to be your best for your, at work. You want to bring value. You want to do your work with integrity. When you're home, you want to care for your family. You want to provide for them. You want to lead them well. If those are anything that are important to you, then I get you. I get it. And with that, at the end of the day, you can be exhausted. And you can just not feel like really giving it your best effort. And that's where the just getting by, just making it can come from. It's because it is work. But let me go ahead and tell you, if you want anything that has to do with the rewards for your best effort, if you want to have that impact, if you want to be able to live your life well, then you have to be intentional, because it won't happen. It won't happen by accident. It won't happen by drifting. It won't happen by just getting by. It requires you to be intentional and put forth that effort. Now, if you're open to that, that's awesome, my friend. I'm glad you're here, glad you're in the right place. If you're not open to that, then just keep listening, and maybe you will realize. Maybe you'll become open to the fact that your best, claiming your day, honoring your values, living your best life, being there for your family and your work and your community to the best you can. None of it's going to happen by accident. Growth doesn't happen by accident. Just because you're getting older, and I am too, my friend, I am too, but just because you're getting older doesn't mean that you're growing and improving. It's there's an old saying of John Maxwell is like, maturity doesn't come automatically. Sometimes age comes alone. Well, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you're growing, but if you're putting forth a little bit of intentional effort, you can grow and improve, and you're the one that's going to reap those benefits for the rest of your life. So the first point, I know I went a little bit long on that one, but if you want to escape the just getting by, drifting, and being fine, if you want to escape that from defining your life and where you're at right now, if you're ready to escape that, full on commit to becoming intentional. This is not about being perfect. It's not about doing every single thing that you can. It's not about burning yourself with a huge task list to do. It's about being intentional with what you do right now. And the second point, so that's the first one. It's all about being intentional. The second one, we have to, in the words of Brendon Burchard, raise the necessity. We have to raise the necessity. Being intentional, committing to growth, it takes effort. But if there's not a necessity for you to put forth the effort now, then it's so easy to put it off. Even if you're, quote unquote, being intentional, but you're going to do that tomorrow, well, then tomorrow might not ever come. So what we have to do is we have to raise the necessity. We have to make sure that it's so important that we do it now. Because necessity is the antidote for laziness. Necessity is the antidote for laziness. So if you're putting things off, then what you got to do is you have to raise the necessity, raise why it's important to do it now. And a great way, and Brendon Burchard teaches us a little bit, one of the great ways to do this is to identify and write down a person, a specific person who needs your best effort today. And look at that person. You write that person's name down, look at it. If you can't look at that person, look at them too. And tell yourself, this person needs my best effort, my best work today. I will positively impact this person's life by the work and the effort that I do. Think about that. See, now it's not just you. It's not just you that need it. It's not just your future self, which I'll argue that those are two very important people to work for. You yourself now and who you're going to be in the future. You've got to give your best effort for them. But when you can add the necessity of giving your best for somebody else and somebody specific, somebody in your life, someone that's important to you, that sometimes can be the extra little push that you need to be able to get off the couch now, take action, and pursue your best because of how you're going to impact those other people. And I would say it's not just that one person. The impact that you can have throughout your life by claiming your day, by making the most of the time you have now to be the best that you can be, you'll be able to impact far more people into a greater capacity. That's why I always say, being the best that you can be and living out your values for what's most important to you, your life, your family, and your goals. When you pursue that with the necessity of taking action now, then you're going to have that impact. And then you're going to have that significance. Significance is far greater than just success. All right. So that's what we have so far. We've got to be intentional. We've got to raise the necessity to take action now. So now, why is this important? See, we're going to close the gap from who you are right now to who you truly could be with the full definition of fulfillment and significance. We're going to narrow that gap. We're going to stop putting things off for the future. Instead, we're going to take action now. And the action we take now is going to be intentional, specifically designed for your values, your goals, your priorities, and the life you want to live. So we're going to move just from survival mode to significance mode. Now that sounds awesome. I got goosebumps just thinking about that. Breaking away from the just getting by, the everything's fine, we're just making it, to living intentionally our best lives for the impact that we could have in our family, at work, in our community. This is where you begin to truly build a life that matters. That's why this is important. It's not a bunch of fluff. We can talk about intentionality and taking action. I get it. Sometimes it doesn't land, and it just seems like that's what everyone's saying. But what you choose to do is actually what's most important. You can take this information and just chalk it off to, hey, it's just some guy on a podcast talking. Or you can say to yourself, I'm going to be intentional with what I do today. I'm going to take action because today matters, and I'm going to make it count for my family and the people that are most important to me. That one person that you wrote down, that person's name that needs your best effort, look at that name and say, I'm going to give my best today so that I can positively have a positive impact in this person's life, so I can give them what they need and I can make a difference. Because, my friend, you can make a difference. Please don't waste the day today. You'll never get it back. But if you're intentional and you give it your best, you can make it count. And that, my friend, is what's important. Because if you make today count, that means that you can make tomorrow count. And those days will add up. And before you know it, you won't even recognize the person you've become because you've stepped into that best self. You're fulfilling your potential day after day. And that is truly what I want for you. That's why this podcast is here. That's why I create all this material. It's for you to live your best life starting today. All right. Well, thank you for listening, my friend. I hope you get some value out of this. If you do enjoy it or get some value, please subscribe. Don't want you to miss any of the future episodes coming up. We got a great series. It's all going to be all about growing your impact even more. Also, feel free to check out I'm on Substack. I don't know if you've heard of that platform. I got sick and tired of Facebook and Twitter or X, and then Instagram and Threads. Substack just has a whole lot less junk. So I'm on there. Feel free to check me out. Or you can always go to the website, nickmazy.com. I got an intentional choice guide there. You don't have to do all of these things, but do one thing that's going to help keep you moving forward. Help receiving the message that I have for you to help guide you along the way. As you know, it's heavily influenced by John Maxwell, and he's one of the world leadership experts. So it's coming from some good material. All right. Thank you for listening. Take care. I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode.